do you process a result like that with a pretty inexperienced group?
Oh, we'll just work through it bit by bit and play by play and contest by contest. I mean, it's the margin's obvious on the scoreboard, but the margins between contests are thinner than people probably appreciate, and we're just they just got us bit by bit over 4 quarters, which added up to a big margin. Key forwards who got a hold of us, and the player we could probably least afford to lose in defence, we lost, and it exposed a pretty undermanned, undersized, vulnerable defence. But again, got it inside 50, almost enough to be able to compete. But there's challenges all over the ground for us at the moment. But it's a consistent message to our players at the moment that it's a difficult situation we're in. But you can choose which way you respond. You can make excuses. You can identify all the things that aren't working for us at the moment, or that are going against us, and the things that the players can't control, like availability. Or we can focus on improvement and getting better through adversity, and that's really the only way you do get better. When things are going really well, you get a little bit of reward for effort, and you get a little bit of little bit of feedback on what's working well. But real improvement comes through difficult times, and no one enjoys it. It's hard, but when you do hard things, you improve as long as your attitude's right, and that's where we've got to spend a lot of our time, just making sure that our morale stays as high as it can be, and we keep competing, because we're not going to concede.
What did you think of the effort overall throughout the course of the game?
I thought it was okay at times. We got outplayed. I mean, the contested possession difference really is made up of contested marks. You probably should concede 2 uncontested marks when you get beaten, when you actually outnumber at the contest and they still mark it. That's a bit of the challenge for us at the moment. Just the frustration when we're in a contest and we have a tackle broken, or we can't quite break a tackle, and they're able to do exactly that in reverse, and that's a bit of the situation we're in versus where they are. We'll go and watch the VFL tomorrow with a couple of players playing, and I think they've got 17 playing. So I think that we can do a lot right structurally and still get beaten, and that's the frustration for the players and coaching staff at the moment. But frustration doesn't get you anywhere. You've got to channel that and try and focus on improvement, and that's what we'll do.
You mentioned that the margins were thinner in some parts tonight. What was it that you saw in your team tonight that perhaps wasn't reflected on the scoreboard and that you were happy with?
Look, I think it's a hard public message to say we're happy with anything when you have a margin like that. But I still see effort. I still getting beaten in some aerial contests. We're getting beaten in some contests by quality players and by a quality team who do as good a job as anyone at in the competition at exposing teams' vulnerabilities, and when they're vulnerable for one reason or another. But I never at any stage did I think we gave up. We kept fighting, even though the margin was getting away from us.
Jordan was listed as hamstring tightness. Are you fearful it's something?
No, he's got a hamstring strain, almost certainly. We subbed him out immediately. When he feels his hamstring, I mean, there's no point sugarcoating it. He'll go get a scan, and I hope to God I'm wrong, but doubt it.
How devastating is it for a player like him who just keeps getting these soft tissue injuries?
Yeah, it's a true, again, it's like, it's incredibly frustrating, devastating, all the words that you can possibly think of to describe it. But it's, as repetitive as it sounds, it's, there are plenty of examples through the competition of players who've just had to fight setback after setback after setback, and when you can come through it, you come through it a more resilient player and a more resilient person. So he's, we just rate him so highly. He's so important to our club, and we'll support him through whatever it is. I mean, hopefully, as I said, hopefully I'm wrong. But, when he feels his hamstring, then I think it's pretty obvious.
Brad, from the coaching perspective, it seemed like you had some hungry efforts at clearance. You really competed hard right throughout the match. But Andrew McGrath was in the middle of the ground for most of the night tonight. A change of role for him. What was the thought process behind that?
We didn't have anyone else, and that's not to denigrate Andy. I mean, Andy's a quality midfielder. He can play there. We were, but we're pretty much at the stage now where our midfield's been decimated, like our tall stocks have been decimated. So, the AFL footy, in my opinion, always begins and ends in the contest, and usually it starts in the middle of the ground with. If you can compete in that contested clearance type area, then you've got an opportunity to get the game on your terms. So, we, as best we can at the moment, we need to get our quality in there, and Andy's certainly part of our quality.
And the key message is just for the next month for the playing group. Obviously, there's a month to go. What are some of the positive things that you want to try and get out of the remainder of the season to give yourself some positive features going into 2026?
Well, I mean, the first thing is it is a privilege to play AFL football or to be a part of it. So never take anything for granted. I sort of get that people, could be forgiven for thinking, well, what's there to be gained? For us, there's an enormous amount to be gained, like an enormous amount, because we're playing some players who wouldn't get an opportunity if we weren't in this situation in terms of our availability, and with that comes opportunity for them to get better and test themselves against, really good players. I mean, Norton, Darcy, clearly very dominant today, but, Lockie Blackiston, I don't think there's anyone, sort of outside our club who would have thought that a mid-season rookie pick who was drafted as a ruckman would be playing at full back. But, he hasn't looked out of place. I mean, I know Darcy and Norton got a hold of us tonight, but that's one example of just opportunity. And, and for us as a team, that, as I said at the start, that the hard things, the hard times, I'm watching really closely to see how tight the group stays, how much fight they've got. Because if you can fight and you can go through the hard times, it builds character and resilience for when we can execute better and we can get better as a team. Those intangibles will be really important to us. So they're the things that we're really looking to build for the back half of the year. And it's not easy, it's extremely hard, but when you do hard things, you generally get better, provided your attitude's right.
Brad, camera shots seem to show Zach Merrett looking frustrated on the sidelines. Is he holding up okay?
Yes. I hope I've looked frustrated at times too, because it's true. He's the ultimate competitor, and I think that's what we want in our group. He wants to. We came to the game tonight with a plan to win the game, and he wants to win, and he's a competitor, and he is a winner, and he gets frustrated. I think he's doing an incredible job in terms of not just this year, but even the last 3 years of channeling his emotions. I think if you look back earlier in his career, he was quite noticeably frustrated at times. But I think he's doing an exceptional job of leading our group. But he's also a human being who gets frustrated. But I can assure you, he's leading our team extremely well. I think it's also underrated that how much pressure is going on to certain elements of our team. It's really, we're asking a lot of players, and the irony is, if we're dominating and Zach's just playing his part, it's actually easier for him. This is really hard for him right now. So he's a bit of an example of it's frustrating, it's hard, and you don't enjoy it at the time. But if you have the attitude that these hard times make you better in the long term, there's something to hang your hat on.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.